It's time for a radical shift in the Indigenous art world. Project Antelope is an exclusive platform specifically designed by Indigenous business leaders for Indigenous artists. Project Antelope is a curated online marketplace of fine arts, fashion, books, music, and home goods that connects Indigenous artists to the global art economy. Consumers seeking Indigenous art encounter an environment that undoes the appropriation of Indigenous works and ideas, while Project Antelope artists grow their business, supported by experienced Indigenous business leaders who believe that the power to define Indigenous art must rest with Indigenous artists. Hello, I'm Tylin Agoyo. Today's guest is Glenn Hill Jr. Glenn builds custom hollow body guitars by hand, tailored for modern performers and inspired by vintage construction honed by luthiers over centuries. Glenn considers building guitars an intimate experience in which the wood reveals its sonic possibilities as he goes through the process of carving and sanding. Maple has a bright sound, for instance, while mahogany is dark and warm. His guitars are included in the permanent collections of the Seneca-Iroquois National Museum and the Adirondack Experience.
Family, friends, community, you're listening to On Being Indigenous with your host, Tylin Agoyo.
Hi, Glenn. It's so nice to see you and happy that you're joining me here on this On Being Indigenous podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I honestly, I was really excited when I heard about it.
First, I'd love to, if you could share with the audience what you are showing on Project Antelope.
On Project Antelope, I have 2 to 3 custom-built guitars. One of them was built just specifically for the art market. It was a Flying V, had some ornate inlay in it. Another one is a red double-cut guitar. I actually first place in carbon with that, so that actually got me a ribbon. So that's up there. And there's a newer hollow body or like a jazz type guitar is what I'm trying to focus on now. And it's black, and that is up on Project Antelope also.
It's really everything you do is so gorgeous, and we're just so proud to be able to be in partnership with you on Project Antelope. I would love it if you would share where you live and how does that inform your work.
Right now, I live in Akwesasne. We had a name change. It was called Hogansburg, New York. But the people here are like, hey, this place is called Akwesasne, so let's just go ahead and let's use it. So we did it. So with Akwesasne, New York, I'm Mohawk, Haudenosaunee. I belong to the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. So under that, I'm Bear Clan. Here in Akwesasne, I got my house with my wife and my 2 kids. I live on the reservation. And it influences my work because sometimes in my instruments, there's some culture like seasoned in there, hidden. Some of it's right there. You can see it. Other stuff is hidden.
And how did you start doing this work?
I've been playing guitar since I was teenager, 15, 16, and I wanted a Stratocaster. I needed a Stratocaster because I was a huge Hendrix fan. And I was working at a gas station, a gas attendant. I pump gas, do clean windows and whatnot. That was enough for me after a month. I could afford that. And so I went and got one, and I've been playing and practicing, and that just progressed until I broke something. And then I would go across the border into Canada. I live 5 minutes from the Canadian side, but to get to the guitar shop, I'd have to cross into the city of Cornwall. And there was a guy there. He was okay with telling you how to fix it and how he was going to fix it. But you had to understand. So I learned how to do like general maintenance repair through that. And the band I was in was playing a lot. So what I found was I ended up wearing out the wear and tear parts, like wearing out tires on your car. You can wear out frets on a guitar 1 or 2 seasons, like I'm talking like spring or summer. You can wear them down to where your instrument's not in tune anymore. And you can adjust it to a point, and then you can just, I want to fix it.
It's incredible. It's such exquisite work. And it's really interesting to hear about your process. You mentioned that your wife is an artist. How do you complement each other?
She does fancy basketry. So she works with black ash splint. So that's also a hardwood. And there's a whole other process of getting that. As far as complementing, I noticed that when she would be coloring a basket, I would take note of how it was done. And then when I got to that point of building a guitar, I'm like, I want to make this red. Well, how did my wife? And it was a different process, so I had to learn it, but it was the same materials almost, the same dye. And then I found out that the way I was making dying the guitar, I had to change. I couldn't use what she had to get what I wanted. So we ended up, I noticed like if I did something, it was something that she had done color wise, and then something I did color wise would inspire something she had done. We're not really telling anybody, but I can see it and I know she can see it. There's certain instruments that kind of, when she was making a basket, this instrument, boom, it was the same color.
What do you love?
I love my family first. Music is probably right there. So that's one thing that's always driven me toward what I do.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor, Glenn?
Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
Are you a toppings kind of guy or just the ice cream?
If it's got chocolate syrup on it, then yeah, I'm misbehaving.
What makes you laugh?
Lately, it's been the band I've been with, the Dirty Blues Project. Like in rehearsal, it is nuts. It is like I would say like barn talk, locker room talk. Like we've never grown past the age of 15 in that band. Don't get me wrong, we're playing on stage. It's all business. We're bringing it. But the funniest stuff is in the band practice.
That's wonderful. And it's good that you can have a good time with the folks that you're making music with and enjoy each other and laugh. And that's good for the soul. Are you passing on your love of music to your children?
I kind of already have. I have one that's already, well, she's done college and she didn't pursue music, but when she did do music, she went from third chair to first chair, saxophone. And my youngest, who is a senior this year in high school, she's also first chair saxophone.
What is the best way that you think, Glenn, to connect with a person?
Just having a conversation is a really good way to connect with somebody. The other way I found is music, traditional music. You sometimes get paired up with people to do songs, or there's a bigger purpose in our culture with music. I'm always learning about my culture, even now as an older man. When I was young, I thought I knew enough about it, but now that I'm older, I can actually understand what certain things mean versus what I thought it meant as a young man. A big part of it is the music and the renewal process of those ceremonies is actually a renewal. So if you got music and you got people and you have that old language, that's an awesome conversation to have because it's bigger than me. It becomes a community conversation.
What is your dream project?
During a pandemic, I went down the genealogy thing. Like, you run out of stuff to do during a pandemic. So I went down the genealogy. I'm like, wow, like there's some serious players on both sides of my family. So I went all the way down. So me, I guess if I started selling instruments, I could take in a percentage of my instrument and tuck it away. I would start buying up some of my family's homeland. That's what I would do. Where I live now, I'm fortunate. I'm on an Indian reservation, but to buy back some of the homeland, that'd be kind of cool because it's the next 7 generations. If what I'm doing with my instruments, if I can do something for them, because I'm using all of our culture. It's my stories and my culture and my instrument is particular to me. But for me to give back the next 7 generations, um, that's what I would do. It's grandiose. It sounds amazing. It's an awesome dream. So I guess that's what I would shoot for if I could keep going and doing this.
I really appreciate what you said about learning about your culture and how it evolves over time and how things have different meanings, or as you grow, you see things in different ways. I think that's really incredible and thoughtful. And it also gives insight into how when our children are up and coming and they learn things in certain ways because that's where they are in their lives, right? Like that's they can only process what their worldview is and what they know, but we know that these lessons they'll carry with them, and one day they will look back and say, oh, that's what that meant, or this fits into this scenario. And so I really appreciate what you said there. So I have one final question for you regarding Project Antelope. We've been working on this for a long time, but we've just started having artists sign on, and it's a really exciting time, and we're so happy to be able to partner with you on it. What did you think about this endeavor, this business that has Indigenous owners, right? And reaching out to Indigenous artists. And did you have any thoughts about the potential of what we could do with this?
And to hear everything from Project Antelope and the way I was approached, I related right away. I was like, this sounds like a really good promoter. I'm going to jump on this. And it was at a point where I haven't done this full time all the time. I was there once And I was at that point where, I had a job interview coming back up. I don't want to do that. I know working for me, I've been the happiest. And if I can incorporate other people that have the same values and the same ideas, I would love to see. I would love to take it as far as we can.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to working with you and really happy that you're on board. So this has been a wonderful conversation, Glenn. Thank you for taking the time.
I appreciate doing this. It was awesome.
Have a great day.
You've been listening to On Being Indigenous. For more information on Project Antelope artists, visit projectantelope.com or follow us on Instagram at Project Antelope. Please follow, like, and subscribe. And if you're so moved, leave us a review. We love those. Have a gorgeous day.